Hello and welcome back. We are doing another video on Listia by request. People want to know what is going on with the Listia credit value. As you know, if you've been watching or if you're not familiar with Listia, Listia is a token economy system whereby you barter with other Listia users and you are paid in Listia credits, and you use those credits like a token economy to purchase other things on the site, which is an ideal concept. But however, in the beginning of this year, Listia introduced a buyback program whereby you could exchange those credits for actual currency through PayPal. The problem was that originally 1,000 credits equaled $1, and Listia changed that in one day to 5,000 credits equaling $1, which disrupted their economy drastically because everybody's credits lost 80% of their value literally within a 24-hour period, which is a hyperinflation problem. Look up hyperinflation and you'll see what I'm talking about. Or look at Venezuela is a perfect example of hyperinflation and what it can do to an economy. And since they had a sliding scale on it, instead of fixing it like you do with a real economy where you set a ceiling of how much dollar values can reach, they left it open like a stock exchange. And so the credits keep sliding up and up and up. And right now it's at 20,000 credits equaling $1, which is the worst it has been. It has continued to decline all year and continues to get worse. And people want to know, how the hell is this happening? Well, we've been watching and we kind of figured it out. Eric has been monitoring something, and I found this to be very interesting. The big Listia sellers, and you know who I'm talking about, these so-called Listia ambassadors who their entire auction page, they have like 20,000 followers and they have like 250 pages of auctions, and they're all gins, get it now, purchases from $1 million and up. They sell brand new power tools and they sell brand new televisions and things like that on Listia for credits. These are your culprits. This is what we've discovered. Now, first of all, when you see a television like this one, I'll show you one of the TVs here that you see often on Listia. It's the Sansui, and Sansui is a Walmart brand, by the way. What these people do is they don't actually have anything. What they do is they have accounts at like Walmart or Best Buy, and they, when you make your order through Listia, you give them 10 million credits for something. They purchase it and have it sent to your address. Now, when you're dealing with a big box store, they make their own deliveries locally. So let's say that this particular item, you get a television and it's going to be ordered from Best Buy by this Listia seller, right? So they place the order with Best Buy and you will literally have that TV within 2 to 3 days because they will deliver it from the closest Best Buy. So they make this order, you get your item, their credits are released in 2 to 3 days because you got it already, and they turn around and they dump those credits into the system to make a sale. And I'm going to show you, this is what Eric found. Here's a picture of a graph. You see that spike? That's a 19,000 credit sale, and this is the first one he found from a few weeks ago. And this was 3 days after the sale of one of these HD TVs on Listia. It was like 3 days later, here's this spike. And we followed the sale of large ticket gin items versus spikes in the credits sale area of Listia. And they match up to anywhere from 2 to 4 days after a big ticket sale. Bam, there's a big spike. Rather than holding out, they will just jump ahead. Like, let's say something is worth, let's say the last sale was 18,000 credits. They want to dump their credits, so they'll sell them for 19 or 19 and a half or 20 just to make sure they sell, because the lowest valued credits sell first and then goes down the line. And I can show you where you can find this in Listia. I'm going to show you another video here real quick that I just did that explains this. So watch this. Now this is the page that you normally see, credit amount, credits. The last one sold for 19,900 equaling $1, which you see right here, which is absolutely pitiful, plus their transaction fee. Now most people follow this guide down here. This is the sell rate history, and this shows you the values of what the last amounts sold for. And you see they've been as high as 20,000 credits all day long, up and down 1920, 1920. This one is 19.8. But this is not what you need to be looking at. This is, and there is no tutorial for open sell orders. Most people don't know what this is for. Watch. This shows you how many people are selling credits and how many they have and at what values. You don't see this. See right here? There's the 19.9, and that mark, that represents about 1 million credits left. Then you have this massive one, 19.8, and then 19.7 right behind it. And then all these smaller ones, that's less than 1 million, less than 1 million, about 1 million credits at 19.2 are available, a few 100,000 at 19.1, a few 100,000 at 18.9. If these two would back off, if they just cancel their order for a couple of days, these smaller levels would clear themselves out literally in a couple of days at the rate that Listia said it. Listia credits are actually sold at. In 2-3 days, this would be wiped out, and you'd be backed all the way down to here. And then the next one is here. That's about 100,000 credits at 13.7. And then the next gap is right there, 12,100. And then here is a couple of 100,000 credits at 10,000. And then a few 100,000 at 8,000. And then a couple of million here at 7,000 credits. And then somebody's got a bunch at 6.5. That's a big gap, and it would close quickly if these power sellers would quit dumping credits like this. This is your problem right here. So as you can see from that video, if you would just go for the fast dime, there's an old expression, I'll explain it here really quick. Do you want the fast nickel or the slow dime? And of course, you should want the slow dime. And basically that means if you're a little patient, you're going to make a little bit more money instead of just throwing yourself out there and taking whatever you can get in the moment, which is what these sellers are doing. They are taking that fast nickel by undervaluing the credits and trying to get as much as they can right now, without any regard to how that hurts the rest of the Listia community by devaluing credits, and without any regard to how that affects their own future on Listia, because the more they do that, the more they push it up the scale, the harder it will be for them to earn any income from the sale of credits back to Listia in the future. They're hurting themselves. Like I had mentioned in the other video, if you would just be patient, if you just back off a little bit and let that clear up, that small grouping would clear up in a few days, and you'd be back down to like 13 to 15,000 credits being the average, at least temporarily. You could literally, in a course of a few weeks, slide that scale all the way back down to where it was 5,000 again, at least between 5 and 10. But nobody's willing to do it. Everybody wants to bail. Everybody wants to force the issue and get everything they can out of it as quickly as they can. And it's hurting the Listia economy, and eventually it's going to collapse. And I have seen where sales are lower and lower. People don't want to bid anymore. People are getting out. I've heard from many people, and I know many people on Listia who have been in there for a long time that are like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. They're losing. They're losing traction. And eventually some other bartering site is going to come along and take over. They'll replace them, just like Listia replaced swap treasures. And Swap Treasures replaced another one. I can't remember the name of it. I used to be on another one before Swap Treasures. Swap Treasures bumped them off when they started screwing up, and Listia bumped off Swap Treasures. So who's gonna knock out Listia while Listia's credits continue to lose value? I only hope that somebody's willing to stand up. As I said, if the Listians themselves are not willing to back off of these sales and just let the board clean itself out, the only other alternative would be for Listia to admit that they've made a mistake, or for Listia to fix the scale so that it's a certain value, so that it's never lower or higher than a certain amount. Really, they need to do both. So until that day comes, just expect that Listia is going to crash. It has to happen sooner or later. Like I said, this is a hyperinflation example, a really classic hyperinflation example, and the end result of hyperinflation is total bankruptcy. Ask Greece.